It's too cringy.
Today is our last full day here in Tokyo, Japan. Tomorrow we have a half day and then we gotta fly out of Japan, unfortunately. It's been about a month and a week since we left Montreal. It's been crazy. We've been to Toronto, we've been to Calgary, we flew to Hawaii, went all over Japan, but we're finally gonna arrive in New Zealand. I'm excited. I'm also a little bit nervous because now we kind of start over and begin our new lives. It's gonna be exciting. This was the very reason why we did the travel. As fun as traveling is, it's not cheap. The sooner we get to New Zealand, the sooner I could get a job to start paying down my credit. Okay, so I'm actually shooting this 1 month after the story took place. We were in Shinjuku and we were walking through Memory Lane, where most of Shinjuku is very modern looking. As soon as you walk down Memory Lane, which is like, I would say maybe 2 to 3 blocks at the very most, it feels as if you've gotten into a time portal and you went back to, I guess, the older Tokyo. Very nostalgic feeling. And we were looking for yakitori, so we found out there was a yakitori place in Shinjuku, which was a place we already wanted to visit. And we also wanted to visit Memory Lane, also known as Piss Alley, as what I was told. So we went to this place and we walk in, and the yakitori chef, who was a guy named Masa, he points at me and he starts yelling unagi. He's like, unagi, unagi. He wasn't angry at me. He was actually pointing at the painting behind me. So I turn around. It's a painting of an eel. And I'm like, that's fine. I like unagi in English. I don't know if he understood me, but I told him that I like unagi, and that's totally cool. So we ordered 2 skewers. We sit down, and off to the side, I see there's an older Japanese man, probably in his late 60s, early 70s. When they're Asian, it's kind of hard to tell, who was shining off a bottle of sake. He was very red in the face, and you could tell that he was slightly inebriated to say the least. And he started asking us questions, which was very uncommon because in Japan, strangers don't really talk to you very often. Like you would go into a bar or a restaurant, but nobody really engages with each other unless you know the person. And more so if you're gaijin, like we were, we didn't speak Japanese. He said Vancouver, and I said, no, we're from Montreal. And then he pulls out a blue baseball cap, the cap that he was wearing, and there was an embroidered logo that said Vancouver, Canada. And I'm like, wow, that's cool. As we're waiting for our food, he pays his check, and then the old Japanese guy gets up to leave. So we order a bottle of Asahi beer, and then next thing you know, we see the old guy handing a 1,000 yen bill to Masa, the yakitori chef, and he points at our beer. So I said, do you want to have a drink with us? And he declined. You don't want a glass too?
Enjoy.
Okay.
Kanpai.
Kanpai. But he was very charming because he opened the bottle and then he poured us our drinks. So I said, okay, well then let's take a selfie. The unagi was delicious. Masa did a great job. The only time I've ever had eel before was in the form of nigiri. So you'd have like a piece of rice and then like a slice of unagi on top, basted with teriyaki sauce, which I thought was delicious until I had the yakitori version. It was really nice that that happened. That was our last day in Japan, and that moment of humanity where a complete stranger who was Japanese in a Japanese setting not only engaged in conversation with us, but paid for our beer. It was really nice. And we left Japan with that being one of our last memories. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.